If F1 was the movie I waited a year for, Superman Legacy was the one I waited 2 years for. I remember seeing the shortlist of actors for both Clark and Lois, made a mental note of my top picks, and like 2 days later, I won the lottery because they were both officially casted. In fact, I remember where I was when the news broke.
In a Whole Foods, man, just tagging along my 2 friends shopping. But enough with the reminiscing. It's been 2 years of anticipation, and my ass was up past 3 AM when the early screening tickets were released.
I think you're an absolute fool if you trash on Superman. You have to be a Hollow Earth Snyder Code acolyte to give the ultimate judgment of Superman bad. For Krypton's sake, this movie is visually orgasmic. The color grading and film grain massage my eyes. And along with F1, we are being spoiled with full screen experiences. The whole cast is spectacular, but I especially love David Corenswet. From first seeing him in Pearl, I was like, hold up, who is this gentleman pulling off such a great 1900s look? He embodies hope so well. I mean, this iteration of Superman is a refreshing take, and we have James Gunn to thank for the writing. And David Fleming for the emotional, tear-inducing score. Man, one of the 3 moments that made me feel emotionally intense is from the beginning. After he soaks up the sun and flies off, the score just goes off and you just feel like anything is possible. I forgot what exact track played, but you can't knock that energy. This Superman is all about being human, and while the DCEU was there for my adolescence, I looked forward to every release and will never forget the excitement that flowed through me when I saw Henry Cavill at the end of Black Adam, and still processing the trauma of the wasted tease. I look forward to the DCU's future with high spirits and can't wait for their success. I'm sold, I'm on board, and part of me is so excited that Marvel Studios has some good competition to worry about now. So why am I conflicted? I will stand by the fact that Superman is a good movie, but now I want to speak on the bits and pieces of ooze that can't help but form in my brain. I had different expectations than what we received as the final product. I'd waited 2 years for this movie, championing that it was going to be spectacular, but I ended up needing a second watch to secure my thoughts. The reception of the Amazon screenings were so positive, and here I was, happy but uncertain. And it turns out I wasn't the only one. There was something to be yearned for that wasn't satisfied at first, and to be honest, much like my thumbnail says, I don't know if I entirely know what that is just yet, but I'll explain as best as I can.
I'm not messing around, I'm doing important stuff.
On my second watch, I liked some parts of the movie more. I felt more emotional at other parts, and there were just some scenes I felt the same way as my first run. My biggest glaring issue is how the heartfelt moments were treated. I don't think they were given enough room to breathe. One of my highlights of Superman is when Clark wakes up from his kryptonite poisoning and has a conversation with his pa on the bench. It's a sweet moment and his pops tells him he's so proud of him. Clark wraps his arm over him. It's a scene that builds character, and a tear might shed from your eye as the score accompanies it. But seconds after Clark puts his arm on his dad, Ma comes out, calls him a mush, and says there's something important on the TV. I don't know, it's a scene that hits so well for me, but also leaves me wanting more. I wish they were able to finish the embrace. Maybe Pa says, "You're doing the best you can, son," with Clark ending it with an "I love you," and they walk into the house together, content. But as Clark notices the news on the TV, his face drops. It's the second of 3 moments that made me emotional, but it was just cut too soon. And the third moment? Man, when the Raptors get called to kill Superman and he spins around and lasers the entire group, holy shit. I got really glossy-eyed again at the sheer feeling of awesomeness. Movies are a great life escape, and that moment right there just made me feel like I could do anything. That there was so much potential and hope to conquer out there in life. Then Black Noir immediately comes in. It's a quicker shift than the Farm Exchange, but aside from the opening post-heel flying being perfect, I wanted to feel the moments in this movie, and they just moved so quick. My second matter, I'm not alone in this camp, but I wish we saw more Clark Kent and the Daily Planet. I don't have paragraphs to speak on this point, but yeah, I guess a correction would be to see Clark in general, cause the movie does a good job with coverage of everyone else working, just not Clark. And besides the one scene of him in there and the scene on the farm, what we do get of Clark deals with his romance with Lois. And don't get me wrong, that interview scene hits, but show us some Jimmy and Clark, I don't know. The last point I've come up with to articulate is pacing, story. This tweet here is gonna assist me. This movie truly does feel random as hell, sudden and with no, I don't know, easing into. Take my words with a grain of salt, but I'm okay without an origin story. Honestly, 2 comments on screen and more when scrolling are basically saying, we don't need an origin story. Yeah, Winter Soldier isn't an origin story and doesn't feel like being dropped into season 3, episode 17. What the hell is a correlation? Superman is not an origin story, but it does throw you into the middle of the fray. There are no slow moments, it's go, 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 and as I write this, maybe this goes with my first point of not letting the emotional beats breathe. Was Bruce Wayne not Batman for over a year in the Batman? That's not an origin story, but it doesn't place you in the middle. Random pacing critique does not equal I want an origin story. It means I want that story outline from elementary school. Origin movies aren't the only movie with streamlined story progression, and that's my damn point here, but I have derailed. It was a shock on my initial watch, which is why I needed a second. Maybe it's why many others have needed a second watch as well. Maybe I'm too chronically passionate about this movie, the production, and the chatter surrounding it, but at the end of the day,
I love Superman. I will probably go see it 2 more times, hit a minimum 4 watch quota, and feelings may adjust accordingly. Superman makes me emotional, and I fully support David Corenswet, while a little part of me would have loved to see more Henry Cavill. I need everyone I know to go see Superman. This is the comic book movie we need. It has those filmy film elements, score, visual, performances. Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific captured everyone's hype. Nicholas Hoult is beautiful as Lex Luthor. You should be proud to love this movie. It fills me with that beautiful otherworldly hope that a movie of this caliber should do and deserves the high ratings. I just wanted to speak on this movie the only way I knew how, coming from following the beginning of the production to how I finally felt watching it 2 years later. And that is all from me. I hope this video is like 8 minutes max. Love what you like, citizens of Metropolis. Protect your energy and don't ever quit on being punk rock.